Tommy
I think I'm okay.
Thanks, Cathaoirleach. I'm grateful for the brief opportunity to contribute on the discussion on the summer economic programme. Unfortunately, I think it's another prime example of government spin and window dressing without giving any real emphasis to the huge challenges facing our country and a country deprived of significant capital investment for the majority of the past decade. And there's no attempt, I think, in the statement to address the real decline in living standards and the real suffering of so much of our population, which the earlier deputies who spoke have alluded to. I do welcome the inclusion of the statement that about the necessary elimination of the FEMPI legislation. I think it's well past time, ministers, that we should have got rid of FEMPI. We know the tremendously bad negative impact it's had, especially on our pensioners and obviously all across the public service. So I think that should be a priority for the forthcoming year. And of course, we were talking about football earlier on, Cathaoirleach, a couple of times, and in some respects the document before me, of course, on the day that's in it, it reminds me of I think it was the great Jock Stein who used to who led Glasgow Celtic to very successful championships both in Scotland and Europe over many years, and he used to say, of course, you can have all the plans that you like, but you obviously have to contend with the other team. It's the other team which is the key thing. The other team, obviously on the day that's in it, may well be dramatically changed economic circumstances tomorrow. We hope that that's not going to be the case, but it actually could be. I note with interest, again, the fiscal space is expected to be around £1 billion for 2017, just over £11 billion over a 4-year period up to 2021. And I agree with earlier speakers that, again, it seems a very restrictive space for the state and our national economy to be placed in terms of the necessary investment that we know we need in areas like health and housing. You've stated, I think, Minister, you're compliant with 4 of the 5 commitments set out in the programme for the partnership government, and you've exceeded one of them. But the ambitions of eliminating the deficit by 2018 and our debt to GDP ratio set to fall down to 2021, it shouldn't be at the expense of the critical current and capital spending which our population needs. And given that we've had this near decade now of austerity. The establishment of the Rainy Day Fund was referred to earlier on. I mean, I think on balance it was a good decision years ago. I think for Minister McCreevy, the Department of Finance at the time, but I think he was the Minister to establish the National Pension Reserve. And again, as an earlier speaker said, of course, the raid on the reserve and its transfer to bankrupt financial institutions has been one of the most deplorable results of the crash and the follow-on. So I would hope on this occasion that a rainy day fund would be ring-fenced as perhaps the Norwegian sovereign wealth fund, that it would be for the future, for pensioners, for the future investment again in health and housing especially. And of course I hope that the rainy day fund, it won't impact really badly then on projected spending into the early 2020s. The budget strategy to allocate the available fiscal space 2 to 1 in favour of investment in public services over taxation reduction, I think is a small step in the right direction. I believe that again we need to have we need to pick up on the deficit. Deputy Wallace said we need an audit of the kind of infrastructural deficit. I mentioned to Minister Ross a few weeks ago the Metro North plan in public transport, but in particular in housing, I think, and health and education, we need very fundamental investment. I'm a member of the Oireachtas Committee on Arrangements for a budgetary scrutiny, and of course that will hopefully lead to the new estimates committee that I've proposed many times, Cathaoirleach, over the recent Dáils. I'm very cognizant, of course, of the necessity to quality-proof gender-proof, regional-proof, carbon-proof budgets from now on, and to do it with greater foresight year on year. We've had with budgets, and I'm sure the Minister will remember them, where you have a poverty-proofing exercise that's just a kind of box ticking, and we need to get away from that and have real interactions. Now, we had no input whatsoever, as you can hear from listening to the Deputy speaking, into the Summer Economic Statement. I hope that this would be the last year that would be the case. That if, I know you came to the committee when I was tied up at another meeting, Minister, but I think there needs to be, in public expenditure reform and in finance, a real willingness on a partnership basis to engage with the new budgetary committee. We heard yesterday, by the way, from the Parliamentary Budget Office, the equivalent office that we hope to establish from the United Kingdom, and how they interact with their Treasury Committee, so that there would be real engagement from your department, from finance, from the SPU figures in the springtime into this statement, and then into October, so that the budgets from now on won't be a big mystery and a big surprise on the day, but that we will all have taken part in them, and all the suggestions you've heard from deputies around will be part of the budget. Thanks, Cathaoirleach.
Thank you.